We are supported by the German government in the project that is supported across the whole country, the whole continent. And this project, we call it Knowledge Center for Organic Agriculture. And we are responsible for the project that is building a knowledge hub in Eastern Africa. So already for the last few years, since we started working with the German government on this project, around August 2019, that is when we started, we've already assembled several knowledge products about different enterprises in terms of crops, in terms of livestock. And this information has been collected from research that has been undertaken by various research institutions, both our own national research institution, CALRO, and also international research institutions. And this knowledge, we've been able to pass it on to farmers in Eastern Africa, where the project is being implemented, and that is in Kenya, Kenya being one of the countries benefiting from this, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda. And as I mentioned earlier, we have already started working on having this project extend to Madagascar. So farmers are already benefiting from the information we are putting together on various value chains, be it value crops, opportunity crops. Some of the crops people tend to say they are orphan crops, like sweet potatoes and so on. Those are not orphan crops. Those are opportunities crops because they are the crops that can ensure we have food security, that can ensure we have good nutrition and good health, and as well as getting this to the market to get farmers on a living. And to do that as well, we are very conscious of how we are using our own natural resources. One thing we've noticed in the past, reliance on a lot of chemicals really makes it very difficult to get the best out of our soils. So the information we get together is information about what works with the resources we have in order to increase, of course, production, given that demand for food keeps increasing as our own population in this country keeps increasing. And the need to increase production is certainly paramount. But we would like to increase production, but at the same time consider issues of nutrition and health. And that is why what we produce, how we produce, those are important questions that we take into account. And how we look after the environment that is supposed to be looking after us becomes also absolutely critical. So in short, this project has enabled us to reach various farmers with the information that has been lying either with the research people or with a few farmers and get this information to many farmers. And under this project, we use a very innovative approach of scaling up the work that we are promoting. We train the people we call master trainers, and we have done this across the East African region. And those go back to their countries to train others, and those also train others who finally train farmers at the ground level. And one of the things that have already happened is supporting farmers to form groups. Because in groups, they can learn a lot, they can share information and share risks, and it is easier for them to put information into use when they know they are able to share and look at the value of the information being presented and around some technologies or practices that are important to their farming. So this project has been instrumental in helping us come up with such groups, and we are recognizing them through a certification that is at the local level. We call it participatory guarantee system. And this helps us to reach them in a better way and also organize them to exploit or optimize market opportunities at their level. And we are also hoping that the farmers can be able to produce what can go beyond their level of consumption and get this to the market. And we would like actually to see some of our own farmers, however small they are, producing enough that goes not only to our domestic markets, some can also get this to the global markets. The demand globally for organic food is increasing very much indeed. And this became very evident during the recent COVID pandemic. Everyone was saying we have to eat the healthy way, because those who are eating the healthy way seem to have been those who are bouncing very quickly from infections by COVID-19. And it is true. And that's now where we need to focus more our production. And that is where we need to focus more our investments in terms of research, to look at those technologies, and in terms of scaling up the information, the knowledge, and the training more farmers to be able to use practices that are friendly to our environment, but at the same time meeting our food needs in a more nutritious and safe way. Thank you. You noticed earlier we ran 3 programs, and the program that the German government is supporting is through the Knowledge Hub for Eastern Africa. I think from earlier on we have already reached about 150,000 farmers, and through social media, billions of them, almost 15 million through our social media. And we have, I think from the statistics that we show, almost over around 10,000 farmers that are practically benefiting from this program. And one thing we do, we tend to ensure that the program we are implementing complements other programs as well, because we do not handle our programs in isolation. I mentioned to you earlier, this program is realizing benefits and impact by drawing on the communication tools that we have under our farmer communication program. It is also being supported by our other continental program, Ecological Organic Agriculture, where we have already developed a very important framework for value chain and market systems development. And this is one area that really helps us to link farmers as producers to markets so that they can also get incomes for them. This project is very much in line as well in terms of approach to our own goals. Remember, for you who are here earlier on in the day, we mentioned that the goal and very primary for Biovision Africa Trust is to improve the well-being, to improve the livelihoods of our farm families, not only in Kenya, but beyond Kenya, and with a greater focus on how to have women and the youth benefit out of this, not only as beneficiaries in terms of consumption, but also as beneficiaries in terms of supporting production. We focus on youth a lot. As you've seen today, some of the communication tools that we use to get to the farmers are the communication tools that are very friendly to the youth, because youth also want to see, can we use IT tools to pass information to farmers, look information on market prices, and get this information available to the farmers. So we look at where within the project can we have good entry points for the youth to have a place and have a contribution in this. And this is something that we are very much spot on, working with partners to see how we can get youth involved. And as a matter of fact, we are also strengthening how to get youth involved right from primary schools. So this program plus our other programs also try to reach out to schools to introduce to them why it's important that our agriculture is based on principles and practices that can make this small universe of ours to be beautiful to live in, but at the same time to benefit from it. And we are also working very closely with institutions. So one of the things we are doing is to support also even students who are training in agriculture. We give some of them internships in our organization. They work here in Nairobi, some go to our counties, and as you may have known from the work around, we operate in 11 countries on the ground. But of course, we reach the whole of this country through some of our program projects like the radio, covering the whole country, the Organic Farmer Magazine, which we produce hard copies, 35,000, and distribute across the country, but also making some information available through the web, because we don't print for everyone, and we always invite people to get information just virtually by going to the website. We post this information there. And we've really received some good feedback from students, even in colleges, how they find the information we produce very valuable, even to their own studies. And I feel our program is in the right track, and we'll continue to look at how best we can engage the youth. And that is why for us, by looking at the youth, we want to ensure that we begin even those in the primary schools, go to the secondary schools, and of course, approach as well or reach those in tertiary institutions. We work very closely with some of the universities here, Egerton University, University of Nairobi, Kenyatta University, not only for internships, but some of them have programs that engage youth and they work with us. So youth are a focus, and youth are tomorrow's producers, tomorrow's farmers, tomorrow's economists, and there is no way we can leave them out of our programs. We give them very special attention. This particular program, Knowledge Hub for Eastern Africa, at the moment, it is, we are just ending our first phase. Ideally, from the time we designed it, the program was to have first 5 years, but it was split into 2 phases, and there'll be another 5 years. So this is a program that is likely to be around for a while, and we believe we'll not just wait for the German government to support funding it, we also want to see who else can support it, including our own governments. Remember, actually, if you look at this program, it is contributing a lot to the digitalization of our extension services in this country. And for me, I would say working with the Ministry of Agriculture on this project and also our other program, the Farmer Communication Program, we are complementing the efforts of the ministry, not only at national level, but also at county level. If you go to the 11 counties where we are on the ground, in Kakamega, Busia, Nakuru, Muranga, Machakos, Kirinyaga, you will see what we do on the ground, and we work very, very closely with the Ministry of Agriculture. So for sustainability, and let's face it, there's no way we can say forever we should continue waiting for outside development partners to support us. But we also know international collaboration is there. But we also have to see when we get support from outside, what contribution can we make ourselves so that we can show, one, commitment to the joint collaboration. Two, we can also show the sustainability of what has been started, and if it is valuable, how it can go more to support many people, because a project will always be confined to a certain area for a certain time frame. But we want to reach many people. So this means in country, we have to look at how do we also pull in our own resources to ensure that a program that is valuable, contributing to better livelihoods of our farmers and our own local economies, they get support from our own exchequer. And this is very critical indeed. Donors, development partners can increase even their support if they see you are also putting in more and reaching many people to benefit from this. So for us, we always go with a mantra of 3 things. Reach, we want to reach many. Impact, we want to ensure that we can see change in the livelihoods of people. And 3, sustainability. Thank you. You raise very important questions. I wish I had enough time to be able to sit with you and we engage a bit more. But I will respond to them a bit briefly. Climate change is a reality, as you've seen. Global warming keeps increasing, and it's an extreme concern. And the solution does not lie in the use of fossil-based inputs or chemical-based inputs. These are the same inputs which are continuing to contribute to the depletion of the ozone layer, making the world become more warmer and warmer than it should be. And the medicine, if I may use that word, the medicine, the drug to help fix the effects of climate change is how to see the carbon in the carbon dioxide, most of it being retained in our soils. That's where the trick is. Because the moment we release carbon through carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, this is what contributes to the depletion of the ozone layer, opening it up and exposing our Earth to the dangerous waves contributing to the global warming. So to what extent and what initiatives or programs are we undertaking to ensure that we can build more of the carbon? We need it in the air for photosynthesis for the plants to give us the production we need, but we need a lot of it in the soil. So our project, our program, the Knowledge Center for Organic Agriculture in East Africa in the GIZ support, and the Ecological Organic Agriculture, which is supported by the Swiss government, as I mentioned earlier today, through the Swiss Development Corporation, and our own program that now has the tools on how to get information that is relevant to the farmers, that is the Farmer Communication Program. We look at what practices are available, what technologies are available, either by the farmers or those from research that are able to help us incorporate as much carbon in the soil as possible. through soil organic matter, which should come from the natural resources that we have. If you have more of that, not burning it, but incorporating it in the soil, you are already taking the first step to reduce the release of carbon into the soil. Secondly, using inputs in agriculture that are heavily based on chemicals, like the chemical-based fertilizers, is a big issue. Leave alone now the crisis that we see today from the Russia-Ukraine war, which is affecting even the prices and availability of this because of the disruption of the supply chains. So our program, in short, is looking at what are those practices, technologies, by the farmers themselves and from research that can help us build more of the soil organic matter, to build more carbon in the soil, what scientists call carbon sequestration, getting more carbon into the soil and less outside. That is the contribution that our project helps to do this. And we do this also by educating farmers why they should not be thinking very quickly that, oh, we want diammonium phosphates, but looking at their cropping systems, the crop rotation that they do, preparation of quality manure. Sometimes people take this for granted and they think it's primitive agriculture. It is not. That is where we can actually, the fix of supporting to reduce the effects of climate change. And when you go to the COP27, this is where people are going to discuss, where are we? And my friend, I'm sorry to say there's no good news. Why there's no good news is because climate change continues to harm us. We are seeing the effects, yet every year, COPs will be coming up. What efforts are countries doing? What efforts are governments doing? What efforts are development partners, donors doing? Where are they investing? Are they investing in less climate risk interventions, or are they investing in very risky climate interventions? For me, that will be the discussion at the COP27. We take stock of what we've been doing, and hopefully some scientists will also give results to show, are we really narrowing that 1 degree that we are all concerned about, or are we closer to getting even the world more warmer than it is? And I wish you to go there and come up with some information. So climate change, it is a reality. Unfortunately, there tends to be a lot of lip service to serious initiatives, to serious programs that can help reduce climate change. Why? It is because more resources are invested in solutions that are not actually helping to reduce the spread, the impact, and the effects of climate change. A very good question. I have my colleague here, Caroline Mwendwa. She's in charge of the Organic Farmer magazine. There is one issue, there are several issues, and we always produce issues for the organic farmer, depending on the calendar of the farmers. Yeah? So during the time of harvesting, we get information on then how do we ensure that what the farmers have labored to produce, spent money, spent time on their small parcels of land, whatever harvest they have, they should optimize in its utilization. But we should not lose it to post-harvest losses. Why should we do that? And our program, through the Farmer Communication Program, we give information package on how farmers can reduce post-harvest losses. The Top Radio program also runs series on how to handle this. And as I've said, basically, we tend to produce our programs based on the farmers' calendars. And this is one area that we have a lot of information around how we can ensure that we do not lose what we have worked for a long time, waiting to harvest and enjoy, only to see it getting destroyed. So the issue of then dealing with value addition, we provide information on that. The issue of how to get infrastructure for proper storage facilities. We also have information that we keep either sharing through our farmer magazine, the Organic Farmer. We also even have information on this on our Infinite Biovision resource. If you go to the website, just Google Infinite Biovision. Go there, you'll see we have a lot of information in terms of how can you reduce post-harvest losses. So I'm glad to say that is one area that we do try to do as much as we can, but of course we'd like to do more, even with some partners, because by ourselves alone we can't, but we make a contribution to that.